Sports in the city, yeah, we bring the heat. Beat, bass, till the drum can be beat. Concrete jungle, asphalt playground. From the courts to the field, hear the crowd sound. Golden arm, quarterback, slam dunk games. Every corner action where the adrenaline sings. Sports in the city, sports in the city. Heartbeat sync with the bass, ain't nothing gritty. Boys back, the drums drum.
Sports in the city. Sports in the city. You already know what time it is. We keeping it gritty with that sports in the city. Coming to you live from the arena, from the east to the west coast, from the south to the north. All over the globe, there's a sports in the city wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in, Sports in the City TV. Thanks for tuning in, man. Once again, BK Ty, my partner in crime, man. Welcome the people to Sports in the Arena, live from the arena.
What up, Reed? What's up, my G? Shouts out to everybody tuning in. We appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notified anytime we do a new show. Once again, shouts out to everybody, every arena, every court, every rink, every field from coast to coast. Salute. We appreciate you checking in.
Definitely. Logic, Kato Cash. We're back in Sports in the City, live from the arena. So here we go. Let's get to it, man. This is going to be a classic, man. Yo, Logic, man.
It's going to be a monster, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a monster, man. Sports in the City via the Iran Network presents Top Shelf Tuesday. What's the story in the city? What's the word on the streets? What's the haps in the arena? Great men do great things. We laugh, joke, and kid, but we don't play. We play around. We don't mess around. We don't fool around. We get down to the business. So let's get to it, man. The Solstice Progression, man. Season 3, Episode 1, man. Off the top of the pile. Guts and Nice, NHL, Game 7, Panthers and the Oilers. Panthers pull it out 2-1 in a hard-fought defensive game. Your thoughts on the Game 7? Game 7 is a Game 7, regardless of what sport.
Let me tell you, I think, what did they say? Game 7 is like the 2 most magical words in sports or something to that effect.
Yes, sir.
Shouts out to Edmonton for making what seemed like was going to be a rout, an interesting game at the end to bring it to a Game 7. They couldn't quite pull it out. You know, shouts out to Florida, the best defensive team throughout the whole season. And they've definitely have gotten the spoils of their victory, ended the season as the top team in the league, taking home the Stanley Smythe Cup, I believe it's called. Could be mistaken. Pardon me if I'm wrong, but definitely shouts out to Florida.
Oh, correct. The Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Yes. So definitely the best defensive team won.
Oh, Lord Stanley. That's it. My bad. Pardon me. Yeah, Lord Stanley's Cup.
Valiant comeback by the Oilers, as you mentioned. They were down 3 games to none. And they won 3 straight to force a Game 7.
Yeah.
The only team to ever succeed in winning a 7-game series after being down 3-0 was the 1942 Maple Leafs. So valiant effort on the part of the Oilers, but they fell a little short. Connor McDavid won the Conn Smythe Trophy, which was for the most valuable player, which some people questioned. He was kind of shut out the first 2 or 3 games. Then he led his team back in game 4 and 5, which are pivotal games, having 2 back-to-back 4-point games. Got shut down a little bit in game 6, but the team won. Then game 7, he had opportunities, but it was just a defensive stalwart game by the Panthers, as you mentioned, the best defensive team in the NHL for the last 2 seasons. So
yeah, absolutely. I don't see how there could be controversy regarding McDavid getting the award
because he's on a losing team. Only the 6th time that's ever happened.
True that.
I mean, a lot of people are from the school of thought that the MVP for the finals is on the winning team. So that's exactly where it comes from.
I can't even dispute that.
And it's not like a knock on him
True
per
that.
se.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a knock on him. He had like the 4th best playoffs in the NHL history. So it's not a knock on him. There are just some people who think that the award of the MVP of the finals should go to the winning team. What are your thoughts on that?
Traditionally, I would agree with that.
Correct.
But if you have a series where, like in this instance, where you have a series where there was like some phenomenal comeback, and there's no player on the opposing or the winning team that outright dominated to the point where you could say it'd be an injustice to give it to anybody but this player. Mm-hmm. I can't argue those. I mean, if it's ever debatable, then you shouldn't have a problem with it. But if there's a time where it seems like, I'll tell you one of the only I can tell you one of the only times I had actually, and that wasn't even a losing situation because he was the winner. The only time I had a problem with the selection, with who was selected as the MVP of a championship, was when they gave it to Iguodala. I guess sending, the message was he performed such a good job defensively on LeBron.
Okay.
And still, got points and, timely baskets and stuff like that.
Right.
Performance-wise, I'm like, typically, like, that should have went to Steph. Iguodala stepped up, but Steph kind of got him there. And, he wasn't the prominent player in the playoffs, but to give it to somebody who averaged, 16 or 17 points, and the guy that he was guarding averaged like 35.
He didn't stop him. He just tried to contain him.
Exactly. It's kind of.
I mean, that version of LeBron could drop 30 in the quarter, 30 and a half. So to hold him in the playoffs during those times under 40, 45, 50, and surprisingly, LeBron doesn't have more performances above 40 points, 45 points in the playoffs. And that's when it counts the most. So that was the knock on McDavid, that he didn't show up in the game 7. But I have to disagree with that. I think you have to give credit to the Florida Panthers for just playing a hell of a game in that game 7 situation. Because to me, the way I looked at, the story with that series was they jump out to a 3-zip lead and they lose 3 straight. That would have been one of the most epic collapses in sports if they would have lost that game 7. Yeah, conversely, now
and the MVP would have been more justifiable under those circumstances.
That's true, but not only that, even now with McDavid, right? There's not saying he's not an all-time great. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's not amongst the best of the best. They're saying, he still has time to get his chips.
Right.
But now if the Panthers would have collapsed, that would have been like the epic collapse of one of the last, I couldn't even remember. I'd have to go back and really think. Maybe the Yankees 3-1 collapse to the Red Sox back in the earlier 2000s. That helped the Red Sox break their curse.
Right.
So yeah, that I've maybe the what Golden State
Golden
weren't they
State
up
and Cleveland.
3-1?
Yeah, what was that 216 or 17?
Correct. And
Something
then
like
you
that.
have some epic collapses by the Oklahoma City Thunder with Durant and Westbrook and Harden and them cats. You
But
have
that
the
wasn't the
Rockets.
finals, though, was it?
No, but still, they were
Yeah.
still epic
Okay.
collapses. But I get to your point
True.
where
True.
I'm just pointing out like a team being up 3-1, 3-zip and losing the series. It's hardly ever happened.
I think one of the most notorious suspects in that regard is Coach Rivers, Doc Rivers.
Oh yeah, we were talking about him last week.
He's probably been a part of too many of those and on the bad end of those too. So
that's absolutely true. But yeah, to sum that up, defense wins championships. Paul Maurice, who's been a long time NHL coach, finally got his first chip. Congratulations. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers, man. One thing I have to say from watching the NHL playoffs, I didn't get to watch it as much as I wanted to. And main reason being is that the NHL and the NBA playoffs schedules sometimes clash. And, being honest, I will watch the NBA before I watch the NHL. If the NHL game is still on, then yeah, congrats, the Panthers. But if the NBA and the NHL is on the same night, same time, I might channel surf depending on the game, but I might not. So what about you? Do you think the NHL and their scheduling kind of offset some of their viewership?
I don't think so because
I would watch if the NBA's not on. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly, but I think to your point, there are a lot of people that feel just the opposite. That
they won't watch.
That they'd rather watch hockey than watch basketball. You got people that would rather watch baseball than one of those two.
Basketball. I don't think NHL is more NHL. They have their fan base, of course.
They're doing all right,
but they're not more popular than the NBA right now.
Probably
once upon a time, yeah, but not now.
I don't know. I don't really think
the NBA passed baseball.
I don't really think the NHL has ever been more popular than an NBA. But to the point that I was making,
that's an interesting point. But I think it has at one time.
Could have been.
You
Definitely, and if it was during Wayne Gretzky era. It had to be during the Gretzky era, man, because things was
before Magic Bird. But that'd be interesting to look into. You know, if we could take a look into that. Yeah, so that was a great series. To me, though, that was one of the best NHL playoffs that I've seen in a long time. As far as the competitiveness, the game sevens, the elimination games, the comebacks. I haven't seen such a hard way or road to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, as far as the Oilers' path they had to take since the 1994 Rangers, it seemed like every series in that year they were going to elimination games, game 7. So, but shout outs, man. NHL gained some viewership, man.
I think so, man. Every year, every sport, every sport of the big four, MLB, NHL, etc. They're doing things to advance the game, make it more palatable to casual fans. They're doing like the NBA. I think is the biggest culprit in that regard with the rules.
You think the NHL has casual fans though?
I do.
Really?
You're looking at one. One. I'd be hard pressed to name 4 players on the Rangers. I'll keep it a buck with you. But being a sports fan that I am, being a fan of competition, I'll sit and watch a Rangers game, especially if they're doing well, if they're a competitive team. A casual fan won't watch a team that's garbage. You know what I'm saying? But a team like this season, I was definitely catching a couple of Rangers games as opposed to any other season. The last time I could say that was when crap, I don't even know the last time I can say I've been catching,
1994 Rangers.
But yeah,
Well, maybe the Rangers 2000s. They've had some competitive
well, I
teams
think
over the
recently
last
with
several years.
Lundqvist and
Yeah,
those, that
yeah,
was a
they've
couple
had
of
some over the last 10 years. They've had more
we had some
competitive
competitive
teams
teams.
than the
Yep.
Islanders. I have to say that. Or
Yep.
I don't know if you, yeah, whose line was that? I got a Jersey Devil.
Oh, where was that from? Man, I
That
can't
was
remember.
from here. I
Oh,
think
okay.
Logic said it. Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
Jersey Devil. I forgot his line exactly, man. I'm
Right.
sub quoting, man. But yeah, okay. So, any closing thoughts on the NHL in the finals? Stanley
Um,
Cup victors, Florida
no, man,
Panthers,
I think this 7-game
the
series
New
was
Jersey
probably
Devils, right?
I think this 7-game series was the best thing that happened to the NHL, man, in a long time, man, and it'll just go further, especially after the NBA finals, man. Oh my gosh, I think people were just thirsting for a good championship series, man.
Some
Um,
competitiveness, right?
some competitive, a competitive
Yeah,
championship, man. So,
right.
but yeah, salute to the NHL, man. They're definitely gaining, if nothing else, more casual fans, and with the advent of the internet and new streaming services and people having access to seeing more games, I think it'll do the sport a great deal of good, man.
The
For
games are
sure, for
very
sure.
competitive, very
They are.
competitive.
It's a very action-packed sport on
And I
top of
have to
it, which I
say
think
this.
lends itself to the viewability of it.
I have to say this, man. Although most of the time I'm more into offensive sports, like I want to see offense, I want to see scoring.
Yeah.
But I have to say, watching hockey, the physicality, the athleticism, the skill level that they have to exhibit and use during the course of a game, the physical strength, the stamina, endurance, man. I have to tip my hat to hockey players, man. I
Yeah.
found a new respect for hockey players, man. I have to say, although it's not like my favorite sport, I would have to say it's on top of the sports as far as toughest to play and to be excelling or at the top of your game, man, because you could just get clapped up on the boards, man, and and you get pinned on the boards, and that happens to you all night, and they just suffocate you. And not only do you get a beating and a bruising, but you don't even get to get off and play any offense. So
I think I
and
think
yes,
age I think
skating.
age got something to do with that too. Because I'll be honest, man, 10 years ago, I don't care how the NBA finals were.
Uh-huh.
If it was great or super competitive or if it was trash, man, that the NHL finals would be an afterthought to me. I'd flip the
They got
channel
more
and keep
exposure now,
pushing.
though.
Yeah,
They have
true.
more exposure now, though.
Yep.
Because a lot of the games are broadcast on ESPN or they'll broadcast on TBS or TNT or one of their affiliates. So they're doing their thing, taking advantage of the marketing, the internet streaming services, cable partnerships, so forth and so on. So any closing thoughts on that besides, oh yeah, I got one question for you. Connor McDavid, he did not come and pick up his MVP trophy. He did not come pick up the Conn Smythe trophy. How you feel about that? Because
Like he
that's what
didn't.
they talking about. That's the story. He
He
ain't even
just
come pick up the trophy.
why not?
He said that's not the trophy he was going for.
I got you. So he was running one of those. That's not the one I wanted. So I don't know, man. All I can say is in a situation like that, especially after looking like you was about to get your asses handed to you and then coming back and forcing the game 7, I can
Right.
imagine that can be very disappointing, especially the way that they lost in game 7. I mean, I won't say it wasn't, to the point that you made, it wasn't a blowout or anything like that. It was a close game, but I don't think Edmonton ever even really looked like they had a chance in that game. So
In an instance like that, you don't come pick up the trophy. Do they have the right to name someone else? as the MVP?
Nah.
Nah.
You gotta. I guess you kind of gotta understand, and
You gotta
especially
just wear that
you
black
want him.
eye.
Yeah, what you want him to come out on the ice with the winning team. You know, you got a bunch of red
Panthers on the
red and orange jerseys and whatnot, or red and yellow
right.
jerseys, and then you got this one dude standing there in a blue and orange jersey, like, yo, let me get my joint so I can get out of here, yo.
Oh man, so I
You
see
know,
your point.
that would be kind of weird, I guess, man. And I think that lends itself to the point that you made earlier about someone from the losing team winning winning a postseason MVP award. You know,
Right.
which that's probably a reason why they don't do it too often.
Correct. They said that his performance over compared to the other players was just so staggering. And I think they do an overall playoff. I don't know if they do an overall playoff trophy
like
as
the NBA,
opposed to just for the finals.
like the like the NBA used to do. Like the NBA just started the
Just
Eastern
for the
Conference
finals.
and Western Conference playoff MVP or whatever.
Got you.
But it used to be from the first round of the playoffs to whoever won the finals. That was the criteria for the finals MVP.
Got you. Well, you know, maybe next year, Connor, because he has a bright future ahead of him, man. Moving along, man. Women's round ball around the world. We're gonna just talk about some NBA players, WNBA players, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Caitlin Clark, who were in this past draft.
Facts.
All jokes aside,
Facts.
I was wilding out a little bit last week, but in all seriousness, these other players have to be mentioned, and we have to kind of we have to change the narrative. And, you know, as you said, the WNBA was around before Caitlin Clark. It'll be around after she's playing. So Cameron Brink, unfortunately, who injured herself to her ACL, was drafted number 2. Camila Cardoso was drafted number 3, and she plays with Angel Reese, which is kind of ironic.
Is she back yet?
Oh yeah, Cardoso, she's back.
She's back. Okay.
Yes, sir. Rakia Jackson was drafted 4 out of Tennessee. J.C. Sheldon went 5. Aaliyah Edwards out of UConn. Angel Reese, of course, out of LSU was 7. Alyssa Pill, Carla Lett, Layla Latikin, and Markeisha Davis, and Nawadu Pooch. I hope I said that correctly. So, you know, we'll just keep going through some of the players as, you know, the season continues, just to highlight them. Out of the top 10, though, outside of Caitlin Clark, who's probably the most, what would I say, polarizing player, if not popular.
Question. Reese.
Who else?
Angel Reese, without question. I think Reese is on a thing where I think kind of along the lines of how maybe not for the same reason, but kind of for the same vitriol. I remember that Sha'Carri Richardson got when she first came out and made her missteps. I think Angel Reese's outspokenness might rub some people the wrong way, especially, you know, those of the, you know, Caitlin Clark is the female basketball Jesus, and female basketball never existed before Caitlin Clark. People that have that idea, I think might be kind of turned off by Angel Reese or have an issue with her or whatever. But Reese is having a phenomenal season and keeping her name deservedly so right in the Rookie of the Year conversation.
Correct.
You know, it's absolutely not going to be a walk in the park for Caitlin to just walk away with that award.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. Angel Reese is staking her claim and her mark on this WNBA season and on the Rookie of the Year for the WNBA. So right now, she's got like 8 straight double-doubles, which is a rookie record. And when we speak of Angel Reese or other WNBA players doing great, please, Caitlin Clark fans, it's not to take away from Caitlin Clark. Like, let's distinguish, you know, a difference. There are differences, and we discuss those, but no one on this show thinks that Caitlin Clark is a scrub. In my point of view, like, she didn't win in college. LSU and Angel Reese knocked her off 2 years ago, right, Todd?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got knocked out by the Gamecocks this past season, correct?
Yep.
So, okay. So I can understand if the hype was the winning also, like Magic Johnson came out of college after winning a chip. Bill Walton, as we mentioned last week, came out of college winning 3 straight chips. I believe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a.k.a. Lou Alcindor, came out of college winning 3-4 chips.
4.
4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Russell out of San Francisco, he came out of college winning 3-4 chips. So, or at least 2. I think he won at least. I think he played with the Dons, the San Francisco Dons. Bill Russell. He came out winning at least a couple chips. Mm-hmm. So, with that, I can understand the fanfare that'll follow. You know, after accomplishing that on the collegiate level. So now she has to win something to me. I mean,
I don't know, because I'll say this.
To me, she has to win something.
But I'll say this to your point. I think that is not exactly a fair outlook to have, because you got to think about dudes like Zion Williamson. He didn't win nothing. He didn't even make it to the final. Who do we
talk about? We don't talk about Zion like that.
He didn't. We talked about him his rookie year. We absolutely did.
I mean,
absolutely did.
I mean, he got trolled on social media.
Huh?
He got trolled on social media. I'm not gonna front. Back in his rookie season,
and that's the next point that I was going to make, to the point that you made about.
But no way near to the point.
And all these other people that won championships. So that's why they should be lauded when they come into the league. I think in this day and age with social media and how you have access to, I mean, somebody can do something. Somebody could drop, 35 points in a pro-am game in some city that you never heard of. And 10 minutes later, half the country knows about it thanks to the internet. Whereas back in the day,
but still though,
it was more of I won't say a novelty, but it just wasn't as publicized. You didn't have access the way you do now.
Zion didn't come out of college with this fanfare, though.
He absolutely did. The number 1 pick in the draft, he absolutely did.
Not like to this extent. Nah.
You're right. You're right. But he had a different. He was viewed differently. He wasn't viewed as, I'm coming in to save the league. The NBA was already in good hands. You know. So
you think Caitlin Clark is coming to save the WNBA?
I won't say she came to save the WNBA, but what she was doing in college and the kind of coverage she was getting, people weren't used to seeing that. So, when she got to the or when she, potentially eventually made it to the WNBA, they were like, yo, we want to see that. We want to see you dominate how you were dominating in college.
J58, what up? Yeah, Zion wasn't on that level though.
He wasn't, but he
wasn't on that level.
He did, but to the point I'm trying to make is he did get his fair share of fanfare, and there were a lot of male college players that came out that didn't win a championship that got quite a bit of fame and notoriety before they even did anything in the NBA. Just off
not
the
to the extent of Caitlin Clark, where she's being called. Like when Zion first came into the NBA, he wasn't being called the best player, or he was not the most popular player at that time. Like no one was saying Zion was better than LeBron James when Zion Williamson came into the NBA. Conversely, they're speaking of, and incorrectly, mind you, they're speaking of Caitlin Clark being the best player in the WNBA, and that is clearly A'ja Wilson. So, I mean, like, and to your point, those are more casual fans who are sputtering this rhetoric. And that's the thing that is kind of skewing the narrative or the perspective. So people who don't really know the game, they're getting these false narratives, and then they're getting, I guess, ammunition, something else to troll on the internet about. So they'll troll you or I or whoever else about something concerning Caitlin Clark, and they're quite misinformed. So
yeah,
okay,
like I said, I just think her feats in college, what she was doing, how she was playing, how dominant she was, how polished her game seemed, and especially the shooting, and it wasn't just her shooting, it was the block shots, it was the assists and all of that. That was something that on the whole you weren't used to
but
seeing.
you could say that she had to be like that. She had to be a volume scorer. And who else do you know on that Iowa Hawkeyes, Lady Hawkeyes team? For us to even recall, like I may know
Great point.
maybe one other player on that team.
Great
And
point. But my question is name another non-front court female basketball player that dominated like that in college, so much so that people were looking forward to seeing her play in the WNBA. I don't think we've had that before.
Yeah, of course. Well, okay. Let's just say,
I mean, because you can think of,
unfortunately, the inception of the WNBA caught a lot of players that were greater in accomplishments, won chips in college, and if they had
and
a league
overseas
to
probably,
go to,
yeah.
if they had a league to play in here, they would have been famous and all world here. But like you said, they had to go overseas for the most part. Standouts such as Cheryl Miller, Nancy Lieberman, even what's her name, Sue Bird coming out of college, was highly heralded. Diana Taurasi, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, man,
Holsclaw.
even Shamika Holsclaw, Candace Parker,
Maya Moore.
Maya Moore.
We could go down the list.
Right. So, like, even to the days
Breanna
of the current
Stewart.
coach of the Chicago Sky, Breanna Stewart, Teaspoon.
I think the difference is with regards to those players that dominated, short. They played on system teams for the most part, or teams that were loaded.
Who, Nancy Lieberman? Remember, Nancy Lieberman also played, I think, if not mistaken, she played with the Globetrotters, and I think she might even played with the Nets or the the Knicks
Lieberman
or the Celtics.
With the Globetrotters?
Yeah,
I know Lynette Woodard did. I didn't know Lieberman did.
Nancy Lieberman did also.
Okay.
Yeah, matter of fact, she used to train with Nate, what, Curly, the one that the ball had one that used to do
Curly Neal.
Yeah, man. So Nancy Lieberman, they've been a lot of great women basketball players. Finally, they're getting the exposure.
No doubt. But I don't think any of them have impacted the game the way
I don't know. I can't measure it, bro. I can't measure it because without them, there wouldn't be a Caitlin Clark to even be here to have that platform.
But here's my
the point of why I'm saying this is this. If you take a Cheryl Miller from the time that she played and take Caitlin Clark and put her back there. So that's what you're saying. So that's hold on. That's the only way that you can say definitely that so-and-so would not have impacted this era. It's hard to compare generations like that. So when you say, oh, Caitlin Clark has impacted the game more so than any player in history, that's like saying, like the argument that I hear is Floyd Mayweather is the most impactful boxer of all time because he's made the most money or he's been the most popular at box office. That doesn't mean he's been the greatest or the best. So when you say impact, like impact how? Of course, dollars and cents. You can't compare them other players to the players of this generation. Look, we're not even going to talk about Caitlin Clark. What about Angel Reese? How much money did she make off of NIL this year? To your point of impact.
But it's not even so much about. I mean, they had other players on LSU too. My point is, Clark played on a relatively unknown team. Nobody knew anybody else on that Iowa team. And the fact is, the way she was shooting and being a playmaker,
yeah,
I don't think any. Not so much as far as being a playmaker.
Now you know why
women's college basketball has had plenty of playmakers and plenty of scorers.
You know why I can't say that, bro? Because the WNBA's popularity has not been greater since its inception season. Not even this season so far. 1997. No, 1997 was when it was at its height. When you had the Cynthia Cooper and you had the Cheryl Swoops and those players who were out of their prime, but they were still great players. They were still great players. You can look that up. 1997, that's when the WNBA was at its height. Right now, they've had to fight for viewership, which I don't know who's doing their marketing. They're starting to do better with their marketing now. But when they have marquee games, they were hardly advertised or commercialized. Like now, you're seeing like matchups
for that stuff. They said the WNBA to this day has not made a profit.
Well, they're subsidiary teams of the NBA, so and they're a billion-dollar conglomerate. So that's
you can't really say subsidiary teams, but
they are. There's under the New York. Well, the Liberty were under the Knicks at one point, right? Just as an example. Now, not so much. The Chicago Bulls have control over the Chicago Sky. Most of the ownerships of the NBA team also owns, and come on, the WNBA up until recently, over the last, I would say 2-3 seasons, they're treated like a stepchild over the last few seasons. Like after Cynthia Cooper, matter of fact, I'm gonna say the old guard. I'm gonna say, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Matter of fact, Lisa Leslie, maybe even the Candace Parker is like not so much of the old guard, but I think Lisa Leslie was from the old guard of the WNBA in its inception era.
Yeah.
Like now, you have your Breanna Stewarts, your
that's some skill players.
Neke Abumake, the Arika's balling too. Like Arika's another
Wale or whatever her name is.
Yeah, Arika's balling also. There are players who are balling.
Asia Wilson, Stewie.
Yeah.
Sabrina Ionescu. I mean, you got a lot of very, very good players, man. In the
Angel
WNBA.
Jackson, a lot of them are balling, man. So, and then like right now, right? So speaking of how popular a player is going to be in college, following up their freshman season, who's the standout from USC? What's her name again?
With
the ponytail. See, I forgot her name, but yeah, pardon me for that. But she played on USC this past season. Imagine how popular she's going to be next year.
Oh yeah,
next season.
It's going to be crazy. Her in the how she's going to do in college next year. Damn, I can't remember her name. Hold up, I gotta look it up now.
Yeah. So while you're looking that up, G, the Liberty are playing.
That's it.
Juju Watkins.
Looking out. Appreciate that, fam. Juju Watkins.
Yep. So the Liberty are playing the Minnesota Lynx tonight, currently. And we could get an update on that, see how the Liberty are doing. They're going for their second straight Commissioner's Trophy. They currently have the best record in the league at 15-3, followed by the Connecticut Sun, who have lost the last couple games, who are also tied with the Lynx at 13-3. Then you have the Seattle Storm. Las Vegas Aces are picking up the pace, and they're at 8-6. The Mercury with Tarasi and them are at 500 at 8-8, followed by the Atlanta Dream, the Chicago Sky, the Indiana Fever, the Sparks, the Mystics, and then the Wings.
And the Wings.
Or in the cellar. The Wings are in the cellar. So, yeah.
Shouts out to the Liberty with their best start in franchise history.
It's the best. Okay.
Yep. 15-3, I think is the best start of the team in the franchise.
Okay. All right. So right now,
Minnesota's hot though. Minnesota's definitely
Minnesota's hot. They're 13-3, so
creeping up. 6
they're
in a row.
in second place. So that's going to be a game, you know, that's going to be very competitive, highly competitive. So we're going to keep an eye out for that. Let me see if we could get that score before we move on from the WNBA. Update on the Chicago Sky, the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx. Who's the star on the Lynx? Who's the standout on the Lynx team? You know, that's I want to take a look at the box score of that game. But now, last week, as we take a look into a deeper dive in this, we went through the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese effect. And we know it's inflammatory it could be. Nevertheless, I want to approach this with some evidence instead of just back and forth banter. Now, Geologic, if you could pull this up for me, sir. The hard fouls on and off the ball on Angel Reese. Because I'm trying to see where I seen one screen on Caitlin Clark that was hard that she got from Breanna Stewart. And Breanna Stewart looked at her as, you know, a rival. Like, you ain't taking my spot. That's how I looked at it. And, you know, unfortunately, as you mentioned last week, yeah, sometimes races and everything. So this is Angel Reese getting fouled. Oh, excuse me.
That was the hard foul from Angel Reese on Caitlin Clark. I mean, incidental contact, but she did hit her in the head. In NBA, WNBA, if you make contact with somebody's head, it's an automatic flagrant. But nobody that knows anything about basketball thinks that was a dirty or excessive play. It's just, again, to my point, casual fans and people.
There was a foul. No, there go right there. Angel was getting hammered in that game, bro. Alyssa Thomas, you ain't just see her get hit in the head and
no, I'm just laughing because you said Angel was getting hammered in the game, but you called that foul.
I know we're looking at it though, but you ain't looking at it. You laughing it off. You ain't see her get put on a butt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So my thing is, Angel is getting hit in the head. She's getting hit hard. To me, harder than Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark, I don't think she's really built like that.
Angel Reese is a big also. You know, her game is played primarily in the paint, so she's expected to do some banging and take some hits and stuff like that.
Not to the head though. Alyssa Thomas grabbed her around the neck, choked her out. Yeah, that was right there. Now, Caitlin, she fell while Angel Reese is getting hammered. After we go through the Angel Reese footage, bam, she's getting put on her ass, like, with no remorse. That was who? Aaliyah Edwards or Alyssa Thomas? Which one was that?
Thomas. I think that was Thomas.
Yeah, so she was.
Facts, J58.
Jay
said that's part of the game, baby. You gotta take
so
hard
my
hits.
thing is, why is there double standard?
You gotta taste some hardwood. What do you mean a double standard?
Exactly. So that's to the point exactly.
But what double standard are you talking about?
I'm about to show it to you. Your double standard. Because like right now, I ain't even saying nothing yet. And you like, last week it was, oh, poor Caitlin getting beat up. This week it's now, oh, welcome to the WNBA. That's a double standard. So now
it's not a double standard because one was in the course of the game.
But now, all right,
and one was blatantly.
It wasn't no blatantly.
It was blatant.
Such a
it
big
was
deal.
blatant. The
ball
wasn't even in play, and she body checked.
Hold on. Because you like Johnny Cochran defending OJ over there. Easy, my G. Logic, can we pull up the one now of Caitlin Clark getting shoulder bump by Kennedy Carter that was upgraded to a flagrant? Now, this is a flop to me. I mean, you be the judge of it. Let's take a look at it. So that little nudge with her shoulder, caused all of that.
Hold on. Let's watch it again.
Let's take a look at another angle. Because you're the defense attorney over there for Caitlin Clark.
Let's watch it again.
All right, let's go. Okay, so she scraped Kennedy across the face. Okay, so now we're gonna see the other angle. That was a flop. She's looking up. Come on. That was a dumb play by Kennedy. Probably cost her team the game or momentum in the game.
She wasn't even look. She didn't even see Kennedy coming to body check her.
That wasn't a body check, though.
It was a
she
body
nudged
check.
her with her shoulder.
She didn't nudge.
There was no body check, bro.
She body checked.
That was no body check. She didn't even throw her arms into
body
it.
check. Well,
that was no body check. So she nudged. That was a flop.
You don't
bro.
play ball, so you don't know, dog. That was a body.
Yeah, that was a flop, bro. If you do that on the court, bro, don't get on the court no more, bro.
You know what that was? You know what that was? That was the same thing that Nikola Jokic did to one of the who was it? Markieff Morris. When Morris hit him,
bro, you just have to basketball players flop, bro. Come on, that was a flop. Then she looked up at the ref to get the call. Like she already was going to get the call because it was a dumb play. It was a dumb basketball play. But come on, that's not
a dirty play. It was a dirty
play, bro.
It was dirty.
I've seen dirty plays. All right, let's go another angle.
That was dirty. What was the purpose of that? What was the purpose of that?
That's not even a hard foul, bro.
What was the purpose of that foul if it's not dirty?
They was talking shit back and forth.
Why did Kennedy body check her like that?
I'm not here gonna justify why Kennedy.
No, you're just gonna make statements.
No. What I'm gonna say is what I'm gonna say.
Change the subject like we don't got time,
bro. It wasn't a hard foul, bro.
So
that was a flop. Come on,
it doesn't matter. It was a dirty play. It was a dirty play.
All right, so says you. I don't agree with you. You said it was a dirty play.
Why don't you think it's a dirty play?
A dirty play was if she tried to take her head off, or if she would have put like an elbow into it. She went like this, like she did like the do-si-do and just
had no reason at all whatsoever to come.
I'm not saying it was a smart play
in that moment.
Ty, but you're not saying it. Ty, slow down, baby. Slow down. Slow down. Ty, slow down, bro. Slow down. I'm not saying it wasn't a foul. No, I'm not
when
saying
I call you to the mat on something, it's we don't got time.
You ain't pull me to the mat on nothing, bro. All right, go ahead. Continue. That was a hard foul?
It was a dirty foul, is what I said.
That was a dirty foul. All right,
it was dirty. It was a dirty play, dog.
All right, I'd say it was not a smart play.
No basketball.
Right, bro, that was not a dirty play. Those plays that they were doing to
you, it wasn't a hard foul, and it wasn't a dirty play.
Did she hit her in the head? Did she hit her above the neck?
So let me ask you this question:
Did she hit her above the neck? Because you're talking about it being
so if you trip somebody, that's not a dirty play.
No. Let's stay right here.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you how you answer the question.
Okay, all right, slow down.
No, she did not hit her over the neck.
Did she hit her above the neck?
She did not.
Did she trip her?
She did not.
Okay, then. Did she go at the knees?
She knocked her down before the ball was even inbounded.
In your opinion,
she knocked down a player that didn't even see her coming while the ball was not even in play. How do you not see that's a dirty play?
Bro, so
but I bet you if that was Caitlin Clark, that body checked Angel Reese like that before.
No. I would call it the same way. Listen, if Angel Reese flops, so now you know now.
You would not have.
All right, so.
Let's call it a
Angel Reese flops. For you to try to create an argument for Caitlin Clark, you're gonna say I would do this like you got a crystal ball now.
I'm not creating nothing for Caitlin Clark. I'm just telling you that play that Kennedy Clark.
That was not a hard foul, bro.
It was a dirty foul.
Didn't grow up in Brooklyn, all right? And I asked you,
when the ball wasn't even in play.
That's a flop, bro.
It was intentional.
Thank you, J58. He's coming with. It was an intentional, and it's been upgraded to a flagrant. Come on, Caitlin Clark has not taken the damage and the hits that Angel Reese has taken this year.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter because you're talking about dirty plays.
That doesn't make it any less dirty.
It was. It was dirty.
You crying about Angel Reese getting fouled?
No. Hold on.
During
I want to address. Hold on. Relax
during
for a second.
Play,
J58.
Exactly.
All right. Let me ask you. All right. It ain't no exactly. Because you don't want to see dirty plays. Let's pull up some footage of the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons.
Hold on.
Then you're gonna see dirt. Hold on. Because we're talking. There's levels to this. That was not, to me, the level of hardness and fierceness and intent to injure or put out of the game or maim is the dirty play. To me, that was a dumb play. It wasn't the smartest play, but I don't classify it as a dirty play because she didn't hit her above the head. She didn't try to injure her, maim her, put her out the game. That's such an exaggerated flop, and the media and a lot of fans are making such a big deal out of it. So I just wanted to show it on the show to see that the level of punishment Angel Reese is taking, and I hear nothing. That is a comparison here. And I'm making a comparison to say, you just nudge or push Caitlin Clark. She's going to flop. She just flopped just now. And what she does,
make that comparison because they
I just did because we just saw the footage.
Position.
That was not a hard foul, bro.
If Caitlin Clark was a big that played in the
we
paint,
ain't gonna agree on that, bro. That's not a hard foul. And it's
I'm just gonna stop talking because every time I try to make a point, you keep cutting me off because I'm disputing what you're saying.
You're not saying nothing, bro. So let's move on, man, because you're going to keep saying it's a dirty play. I don't see anything dirty to it, bro.
Let's that does move not on, qualify and in 30 minutes, watch you bring it up again. In 30 seconds, watch you bring it up again.
It's but you're going to say it's a dirty play.
So are we moving on?
The criteria, I know you pulled that last week.
Are we moving on or are we not moving on?
Hello, you pulled that last week, all right? That's not working 2 weeks in a row. All right, nice try, though. But it doesn't qualify as a dirty play. All right, like get your criteria dirty.
In your opinion,
dirty.
In your opinion.
All right, get your criteria of dirty play, and then we can revisit that conversation.
I'm gonna get it. Can I give it to you now?
Nah, I don't want it now.
You don't want it now because it'll throw your whole argument in the trash. That's why.
No, because
it'll trash your whole argument, dog. I'll give you the definite.
Okay.
What is the definition of a dirty play?
No. Don't try to pull it out the rabbit out the hat now.
What is the definition? Tell me what you think. Tell me your definition of a dirty play.
You said it's a dirty play. I didn't say it's a dirty play. I said it was a dumb play, boneheaded play. She still rammed into her shortly. J58.
Why was it boneheaded?
J58, because it was ill-advised in a dumb foul. J58. So whether you're looking or not, if I come behind you and nudge you on the forearm, that was such a flop.
It absolutely, it probably was a flop. I'm not disputing that at all. But what I'm telling you is it happened when the ball wasn't even in play. It was a dirty play.
No, all right. So I'm asking for J58's opinion because we know what you're gonna say. J58, right? If you get nudged like that, are you falling?
He already answered the question. He already answered the question just like I did. So
it doesn't qualify as dirty, though. All right.
You asked him and now you're telling him he's wrong. You asked his opinion. No, I did ask his opinion. He's wrong. You did. But, you was getting ready to, you already did.
All right, so this is what I'm saying. That's like an oxymoron. A soft, dirty play. It was dirty but soft. Like, come on. A dirty play is going to be hard. It's going to try to hurt you.
No,
it's going to try to take you out the game. Yes, it is. And then your man in the gray hoodies right there amping it up.
No, it's not. A dirty play don't always got to be about you trying to injure
All right, we're going to move on. Let's move on to who's your pick tonight for the Commissioner's Cup. Let's try to talk about something we could agree upon then. Or you want to talk about Game 3, the Sky versus the Fever, and that incredible comeback by the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese, 15 straight points.
We can talk about that.
They were playing dirty there too?
We can talk about that.
Because that was a physical game. So I don't know if you saw it, but it was a physical game.
I did not.
And in that game, the Sky prevailed victorious. They beat the Fever for the first time this season. So the Sky are now 1-2 versus the Fever. But Angel Reese made a comment about having the dog in her. She's got that dog, that fight in her, and you can't teach that. And I think that's something that a lot of people are saying right now, that Clayton Clark doesn't have that fight. She doesn't have that dog in her. She's a highly skilled player, but unless she gets allowances to play an offensive style of game that does not play towards a physical style, she's gonna, come up lacking in those physical games. And that's just the facts of the facts. I don't know if you saw it, but that was a hell of a comeback. And they lost, they pipped them by 1 point, 92-91.
She'll get that until she adjusts to the physicality. But that's always the tactic against a skilled player. You try and beat them up, you try and frustrate them, take them out of the game. She didn't have
Some
her
of it
best
is
game.
just hard physical play. It ain't
Yeah,
just
for
always
sure.
it ain't
For
just
sure.
always a beat up. You know, we got to be careful when we use words like that when we're discussing Caitlin Clark.
Unless it's Angel Reese, then it's getting beat up.
Yeah.
But when it's Caitlin Clark, it's not. I got you.
When did you see Caitlin Clark get hit in the head? How many
By
times?
Angel Reese when she went to the
One
hole.
time, and that was like a swipe. She barely got hit. Your girl is an ultimate flopper, man. I ain't never gonna stop saying it until she stopped doing it. Just like I've been saying that LeBron's been flopping for 20 seasons. So why should I expect any better from Caitlin Clark, man? If it works and you know she gets calls and so forth, then so be it, man. But yeah, you made a bad comparison with Christian Laettner. The 1992 Dream Team was composed to only have one college player on there. I would say it's a dumb play. I don't know, dirty. Like I said, she ain't get injured or hurt. And Kennedy Clark wasn't trying to injure her. So that's where I'm at with that, J58. It has to have more than just it being, oh, she wasn't looking, her back was turned, she was sideways, she was this. You know, I don't know what peripheral vision or sense of awareness Caitlin Clark is supposed to be one of the most skilled players ever, right? She should have some court awareness to see or feel somebody coming behind her. So, okay, that part, yeah, she wasn't looking. Man, other than that, not above the head, not trying to injure, no knee contact, no ankle contact, no tripping, no throat karate chop to the head, no poking in the eye. I've seen dirty plays. That was dumb, but to me, doesn't qualify as dirty. So I want to see highlights of the Sky versus the Fever game. Can we get some of that going on, Mr. Logic? Then we're going to move on to NBA Round the World. Man. They were leading for 3 quarters, and then they made a terrific comeback. Okay, so now to that point, Angel and Caitlin Clark is comparable to what rivalry?
I don't know. There's no rivalry that comes to mind. I don't know. Maybe Zion and Ja.
Really? You think Ja and Zion had a rivalry that spilled over into the NBA? Because Zion's been injured.
Caitlin and Angel's rivalry ain't spill over to anything but on the court.
What are you talking about? They have a rivalry now. Anytime their teams play against each other, it's box office. I don't know Zion and Ja to have a rivalry like that, especially since Zion has been often injured, especially when they first came into the league.
True.
I would say because they played for championships against each other, I would say more on the lines of Magic and Bird. I would say more on the lines of that. And I wouldn't be surprised if each of them have won a chip before it's said and done. To me, that's the rivalry that comes to mind. Because they were in college together, competed on the highest level in college against each other, and now they're competing on the highest WNBA level against each other. And both of their teams are about the same, but when they play against each other's team, it's like they're going all out. They're not playing at all. So that's a rivalry that I see it more comparable to, because I can't think of any other rivalry where 2 players came out of college around the same time.
True that.
And entered the pro level. That's and they both played in, championship games. All right. Moving along, unless you have any thoughts on the Sky and the Fever.
Nah.
All right, NBA around the world. JJ Redick gets hired by the Los Angeles Lakers. Thoughts on that hiring?
Shocked. I don't know. I think JJ is an incredibly intelligent basketball mind. But when I look at him, I don't look at him as a guy that can relate to, everybody in the locker room or whatever. But I guess that remains to be seen on, what type of relationship he'll have with players. So far, there have been a couple of players that have, put their stamp of approval on the hire. So, we'll see how that pans out. And, JJ claimed that LeBron was not a part of the hiring process, so he didn't talk to LeBron about becoming the Lakers head coach until after the Lakers had offered him the position.
Wink, wink.
Which leads itself to say, yeah, who's to say that, LeBron didn't, put a word in me like, yo, if you're thinking about it, I wouldn't have a problem with it kind of thing. But I think in this day and age, man, because a lot of people are saying the Lakers did that to appease / keep LeBron James. And I just got to think that the Lakers front office, they got to be smarter than that, man. Rob Pelinka got to be – Jeannie Buss, man. I mean, they got to be smarter than to – I don't know. I just don't – I don't see the Lakers winning a chip during LeBron's tenure there with the team. I don't see them because, number one, they don't have assets enough to put a good enough team around him. And then his age, AD's injury history, although he probably had the most durable season he's had in a long time, I just think that they got to know that JJ is going to be a good coach, or, they got some kind of favorable responses to potentially hiring him. So they brought him in. Like I said, I don't think there's too many more
he had
people
his first press conference today, and he was kind of decisive with the media. So they asked him about the influence of his hire, the implications of his hire, and
that seemed kind of forced when he was talking about I don't give a fuck about proving people wrong or answering people's doubts about me. Or
when
whatever.
He's going to be paying attention and following the narratives, because this is a man who said Bob Cousy just played against plumbers, man. So, he's definitely cocky. That's probably to appease LeBron.
I don't even think
come on. I mean, let's be clear here. Like, the writing was on the wall, right? He starts a podcast with LeBron when Darvin Ham is on the hot seat, and that's not going to help any cause for Darvin Ham. And you're silently, subliminally giving your seal of approval. You're going on a podcast and you're discussing basketball strategy and tactics during games, during the season. And this is going to show like you have a like mind with this other person, JJ Redick and LeBron. So they're sipping wine, so they have the rapport. So if the Lakers tried to bring in a coach that LeBron did not co-sign or approve of, that it was going to be a problem. As to your point, they weren't going to be able to keep LeBron James. My surprise is that JJ Redick, although it's not impossible, it's been done before, but it hasn't been so successful, where a coach has come in and coached the team with no experience as an assistant or otherwise and just came straight in. Vinny Del Negro, maybe, Steve Nash, and that was
Doc Rivers and Mark Jackson, Steve Nash.
Steve Nash was a fail.
No, he never. Yeah, Steve Nash he was an assistant coach with Golden State, wasn't he? Or was he just an advisor?
I think he was an advisor. Wasn't then he either with Golden State?
I know Mark Jackson and Doc Rivers both went straight from the broadcast booth to the head coach. No bench experience. Yeah.
Back in the days, when Doc, before he coached the Celtics,
Huh?
before he coached the Celtics back in the days, he went
Correct.
straight from the broadcast booth.
Correct.
Okay, but for the most part, it hasn't been successful. So, I mean, it's an interesting hire. It's gonna definitely draw attention. I don't know how successful it would be, but you know, it will remain to be seen. What do you think? Good season, fair season, outstanding season for the Lakers. JJ Redick.
It depends. It depends on who they. It depends on who they how they feel the rest of that team. But you know, I definitely. I think JJ will be a good X's and O's guy. You know, to that point. I forgot who it was. It was
because he agrees with all the X's and O's that the
no. But listen, because it was I forgot who it was. I was listening to. It was it today?
But that's the point.
I think it was
he agrees with everything LeBron says.
No. Let me finish.
Strategically, bro.
No.
Get to it, bro.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
somebody
was talking today about one of JJ's jobs as an analyst for the NBA. Prior to games was to talk to coaches about their game plan. What's your game plan? How, you know, what are you going to do against this team? Blah, 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 blah. You know, how are you going to react when they counter, blah, blah, blah. And him having that experience of talking to coaches before each and every game for however many seasons he's been an analyst has given him a different insight. And that's one of the reasons why. A different insight. Yeah.
So he has that. So he has the only brain that's going to be able to tactically coach. Like I said, he agrees with LeBron tactically and coaching wise, basketball wise. That's why they have a podcast together. They obviously gel together. As great of a basketball mind as JJ Redick may be or may not be, that's not me to say right now. I'm not saying that he's not, but it has to translate on the court. And it also has to translate to coaching. As you said, he might not be able to translate all of that to other players besides LeBron. So that's yet to be seen. My thing is, if he did not agree with LeBron on certain tactics and certain basketball strategies, I don't think they would have hired him. Like LeBron, he signed off on Danny Hurley, who were the Lakers' first choice, and he decided to stay at UConn and go for the three-peat. So pivoting off of that, you got three teams that are back to back right now. You got the Aces, you got UConn, and you got the Chiefs. Interesting question. Which one of them repeats? Three-peats. UConn?
Yeah, because all the Chiefs wide receivers are going to be in jail before the end of next season. So
really? Damn.
Yeah, I think I won't say wide receivers, but didn't somebody else from the Chiefs just get cut because he got an assault charge or a gun charge or something like that? I don't know what kind of charge.
He's replaceable. Patrick Mahomes makes anybody replaceable, man.
True that.
As long as he got Kelsey, and they got some wide receivers that are coming in on the speed level of the cheetah. So it's yet to be seen. You are checking out, pivoting back to the round ball. You checking out the NBA draft?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, shit. Is that tonight or tomorrow?
Nah, tomorrow, bro.
Okay,
you got time.
Yeah.
That's tomorrow. That's Wednesday and Thursday. You got time. Stalwart pick that you see right now.
For who?
The NBA draft.
Man, I have no, them two French kids, Sar and I can't remember the other guy's name. They're probably going to be the top two players that go.
Right, they did pick up Caruso, OKC.
Yeah.
They gotta grow up though. OKC's as well as the Timberwolves, they're inexperienced young team. To close out a series and move on to the next round, younger teams have problems with. OKC has been like that since the KD, Harden, and Westbrook days. So
yeah, I think
history doesn't repeat itself.
That was a good pickup.
Caruso.
To the point of my man Matthew Smart. Shout out to Smarty. OKC needs veterans. They don't need any more young talent. They need some veterans. They need some calming influences on the bench, in the locker room, and on the court in high pressure situations. So
Good.
you know, I don't know if Caruso is that voice or that calming influence, but yeah, that has to be. Sam Presti has like 35 draft picks in the next like 3 years or 4 years.
That's a good pickup because he didn't
absolutely, and all they did
really
was give up Giddey. Yeah, all they did was give it. But you know what's so crazy? Because a year ago, 2 years ago, if you would have suggested a trade straight up, Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso, man, people would have looked at you sideways for saying something like that.
Well, you know, it's a situation.
Things change.
Yeah, all players have a different fit in a different scheme and a different team. You know, yeah. So we'll see. What about your man PG 13?
Yep. I don't know where he's going to end up. I wouldn't have a major problem with him ending up in New York as long as it's not via a sign and trade. If he wants to finish, play that last year of his deal, which is like 45 or 46, I'm not interested in extending him on the Knicks.
Well, the story is that he's a better fit in Philadelphia.
I mean, I don't know that he's a better fit there. He'd probably have a more prominent role. I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess with the assumption that Tobias ain't going to be back. Yeah, he'd be playing the same role on either team. If he goes to Philly, he's going to be the third option. If he comes to New York, he's going to be the third option.
Maybe because if Randall could stay on the court,
Well, he's not going to play the 4. They're going to have him at the 3. That's.
I don't I just want Randall to be healthy, bro. I don't even care where you call him, man.
I'm with you,
the 3, the 4. I ain't even getting into all that. Let's just keep him healthy on the court, man. I ain't even trying to strategize with him. I just want him to be a piece on the board right now on the court. Any other thing around the world? Moving on live to the Diamond. Let's pitch the standings before we turn to double play. So MLB standings, Yankees in first place. Although they have gotten bruised up in the last couple series, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Braves, lost 2 out of 3 to the Orioles, and they lost 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox. So they've lost 3 straight series. So they got to pick it up. Although they still have the best record in the American League, they've got overtaken by the Phillies for the overall Major League best. But they gotta improve a couple areas. They have to improve on their relief pitching. It's been suspect. And they have to solidify the batting of the order. The bottom of the order has not really picked it up. Any other things you see the Yankees have to work on to try to bring this home? Because it's not the halfway point quite yet, but you can see signs of where this team is going. And they have a very good foundation. But there's some holes, there's some chinks in the armor. What say you?
I kind of agree. You definitely I think their pitching has been surprisingly good, especially with Cole coming back. But if anywhere you want to tighten up, there is probably the best place. You can never have too much pitching, man, or too much good pitching, too much reliable pitching, shall I say.
Right.
But they've been surprisingly good. Stumbling of late, of course. But to your point also, man, when the offense wakes up, that puts more pressure on the other team's offense. And, when you're pressing offensively, it's easier for you defensively or as a pitcher.
Right.
To come out on top. So, we'll see. But yeah, they're doing pretty good right now. So I don't have any complaints about what's going on.
Gotcha. Understood. So that's the Yankees in American League East at the top of the East. The Central was headed up by the Cleveland Guardians, followed by the Twins, the Royals, the Tigers, and the White Sox. In the West, it's the Mariners, followed by the Astros, who's trying to make, a move because they were struggling at one point. So are the Rangers and the Angels. In the National League, the Phillies are tied. Well, they have a better record than the Yankees by two games in the loss column, followed by the Braves, the Nationals, the Mets. Interestingly, speaking of the Mets, they start the Subway Series with the Yankees tonight. Can we get that footage of Edwin Diaz? And he says he didn't have any illegal substance on his hand. Edwin
Back
Diaz.
here at Wrigley, Carlos Mendoza coming out because Edwin Diaz has just been ejected. Vic Carapazza there between Diaz and Mendoza. He's the crew chief. They inspected him for the sticky stuff and didn't like what they found.
He said, nah.
And he has
Yankees
just
getting
been
their
thrown out
asses
of this
handed to
game.
them right now, 7-1.
Wow.
Bottom
What
of
about
the
the Liberty?
So Diaz comes on.
No
Yeah, he had-
WNBA games tonight.
Has been tossed.
The sticky stuff.
Trouble. Just by the look and the reaction of the umpires. Diaz pleading his case.
See the sticky
no
stuff
avail.
on his hand. So he's facing a 10-game suspension. Excuse me, 10-day suspension.
His
So-
warm-up tosses.
For a reliever, that's substantial time. And he's not going to appeal it.
Smart.
Look at his thumb looks black, man. Tell me
Smart.
that wasn't the sticky stuff?
Right.
Oh, man. If that wasn't the sticky stuff, man, Caitlin Clark ain't soft, man. Anyway, NFL helmet to helmet. We're going to have to highlight some of the draft picks. So take a look at that list of stalwarts, and we can discuss that as the season approaches. Anything on the wire with the NFL helmet to helmet?
Nothing stands out right now, except for training camp getting ready to start.
Okay. The big deal. Is it a big deal that Aaron Rodgers missed mandatory camp?
Nope. My understanding is that he told him he wasn't going to be able to make it. So I think the media is making more of a deal out of it than anybody else is.
Correct. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to move on to our monsters of the week with the usual suspects and some new additions. Monsters of the week.
My monster of the week is J58, man. Talking about the fentanyl on his hands.
That's crazy.
Oh man. No. My monsters of the week. The Mets.
They were a monster of the week.
I
They
mean,
did have a current winning streak.
Come on, man. And they win like 8 out of 9 or something like that, or 8 out of 10 right now.
Yeah. Well, damn, that's bad. Well, they beating up on the Yankees right now, so right now they are. I can't argue too much that they are a monster. So
Yeah,
what
8
inning
and
is
2,
that?
8 and 2 in the last 10.
Okay,
Almost back at 500.
Well, the Philadelphia Phillies definitely a monster of the
Come on,
week.
man. Yeah,
They overtook the Yankees for the best record in baseball.
Phillies and Yankees World Series. Lock it up.
Lock it up.
You heard it first.
Book it. Let's see who else is a monster.
Cleveland.
The
That's about it
Guardians.
for the monsters. And you got the Dodgers in there too, I guess.
Oh, the Liberty. I definitely had the Connecticut Sun and
For sure, the New York Liberty. Salute.
and the Lynx as monsters. The Oklahoma Lady Sooners.
Baseball, softball.
Yeah, they just won the 4th time in a row. They won the college women's championship. Yeah, the World Series. And then shout out to Tennessee for winning their first College World Series. So they won that. They locked that up against Texas last night. So any other monsters of the week that I could think of? Well, shout out to all of those who are trying out for the Olympic trials. I was watching some of that last night as I was channel surfing. The Florida Panthers monsters. Even I got to tip my hat to the Edmonton Oilers also, because they were on the verge of doing something historic, even though they didn't pull out the rabbit out the hat, but they made it close. Connor McDavid. I think that wraps it up as far as monsters of the week.
Oh, Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh, Matthew Tkachuk. Okay.
Tkachuk.
Okay. All right.
The Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers.
Salute. Yeah, salute to the Panthers. Also,
Yeah, winning their first chip.
No doubt.
Moving along, we're going to get along to the offense. Who's not in your network?
The offense.
They're not on our network.
They rumble anyway.
Man, that's
not
a good
in your
one.
network.
That's a good one. I don't really have any suspects this week that I'm not feeling.
Okay.
I'll let you go first because I might get an idea for what you said, man. But yeah, I can't think of anybody right now.
Yeah, I heard about that with OG. I wasn't really feeling when I heard that. That OG's, but as a player, he has the right to weigh out his options. But I thought he was down. I thought he was down with the program. I thought he bought in when he was there.
OG's agent is the son of the Knicks president. I'm not worried about OG's being signed.
Okay.
As much as the Knicks gave up to get OG, at this point, it's a moot point. Whatever that man want, you got to give it to him.
The media for hyping up all this BS. If we could right the ship and get back just to.
Man, the media could be orphans every week, dog.
Every week, the media's orphans this week, bro. Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith. Monica McNutt is one of my monsters of the week for not only being one of the most qualified
NBA
basketball analysts,
basketball, right?
Period.
College, WNBA, NBA, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Shouts out to Monica McNutt.
She G-checked Stephen A. Smith, and one thing that I did notice is that Stephen A. Smith was bullying or trying to G-check Shanae Obumake and Carter with Shannon Sharp.
Carter. His response,
but McNutt
trying to make it seem like if it wasn't for me, there wouldn't be no female correspondents on ESPN. That was real lame. That was
right. Some of his bravado and so forth. I understand you got to display some confidence and bravado and have that, but at the same time, like he puts the women on the network down. Like I saw him do it with Molly at first, but now he's starting to do it with, Andrea Carter, Shanae Obumake, and out of respect, at first they were trying to just speak truth to power, although he's in charge at the network or the head honcho at the network or whatever got the most pull. They were just trying to speak truth to power basketball wise. And he still wasn't accepting that. Then he was trying to shut them down. So shout out to Monica McNutt, man, for standing up to being bullied by Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp. And Stephen A. Smith is one of our orphans this week, along with Shannon Sharp. And we're going to move along to BK Ty's top 5. Oh, Klay Thompson, he's in the Bahamas. I don't think Klay got it like that no more, to be honest with you. Well, we're going to see. He's going to have a resurgent year, man. He was healthy. He was sitting on the bench healthy.
Yeah. I think Klay was pressing. That was his problem, man. He was trying to prove that he still deserves to be on the team as opposed to adjusting his game to his current
And how'd that
capability.
work? And how'd that work out for him? I don't know. He got to get that old thing back. All right, let's get into BK Ty's top 5. We can't save Klay Thompson. He got to save himself.
All right. My top 5 this week has me feeling some kind of way, but being a fan of basketball first and foremost, I can let go of my little hangups for 6 minutes to give you BK Ty's top 5 greatest Boston Celtics ever. Salute to the Celtics. Salute to them winning. Was this number 17 or 18? Anyway, they have the
18.
most 18, the most championships in the NBA history. And surprise, surprise, let me just let you know that this list does not contain Shaquille O'Neal or Jason Tatum.
No.
Or Kevin Garnett or Paul Pierce. So for those of you that'll be disappointed, sorry to disappoint you. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, we have the Chief, Robert Parrish, who played until he was 43 years old, but most of his career was with the Celtics. He's first in franchise history with over 1,700 blocks, second with 11,000 rebounds, and fourth with 18,000 points and 873 steals. He was an all-star on 9 occasions, an all-NBA selection twice, 4-time NBA champion, earning himself a place on the 75th anniversary team. Salute to Robert Parrish. Number 4 is Kevin McHale, known as probably one of the greatest power forwards the game has ever seen. But if you didn't watch basketball before 1982, you're probably not of that opinion of Kevin McHale, but he absolutely was a monster. Before becoming an NBA executive and coach, McHale helped the Celtics to win 3 championships. A member of the 75th anniversary team, he was a 7-time All-Star, 6-time All-Defensive Team pick, and 2-time Six-Man of the Year award winner. Second on the Celtics with 1,690 blocks, 5th with 17,335 points, and 6th with 7,122 rebounds in the Celtics record books. Coming in at number 3, we have a man whose name was made famous by Johnny Most. Havlicek stole the ball. Havlicek stole the ball. We got John Havlicek coming in at number 3. Havlicek deserves a place as a top 3 Celtic of all time because he's the franchise leader in points, assists. He's the franchise leader in points, 2nd in assists, 5th in rebounds, 8-time NBA champion, Finals MVP 73-74, 13-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA, 8-time All-Defense. Havlicek absolutely deserves this spot on the Celtics all-time greatest Celtics of all time. Coming in at number 2, well, put it this way, we know who 1 and 2 are, but who could be number 1 and 2. But coming in at number 2 is Larry Legend himself, Mr. Larry Bird. Larry Bird certainly has an argument for the first spot on this list, as he's top 5 in Boston record books in steals, points, assists, blocks. Larry Bird is 3rd in blocks to this day on the Celtics and 4th in rebounds. Crazy when you think about this cat played in the 80s and didn't even play a full career because he threw his back out being cheap. Crazy. While winning 3 NBA championships, Larry Legend was the league MVP 3 times, 12-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA, and he even won an All-Defensive team. He even made the All-Defensive team 3 times. Crazy. Right there is where the Luka Doncic comparisons end. Larry Bird made All-Defensive team. We will never, ever, ever in our lifetime see Luka Doncic on an All-Defensive team. Bird was the NBA Finals MVP twice and was the 1970/80 Rookie of the Year in a hotly contested contest between he and Magic Johnson. And of course, is a member of the NBA 75th anniversary team. And coming in at number 1, we have the captain, the coach, the star player, the defensive stalwart, Mr. Bill Russell, with 11 NBA titles. That's more than anybody in the history of the NBA. He is the franchise leader in rebounds with over 21,000, while being 6th in assists, 8th in points. Is a member of the NBA's 75th anniversary team. 5-time MVP, 12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA, and a member of the All-Defense team in 68-69. Wow, that's crazy. He only made one All-Defense team? Wow.
No, I don't think that's correct, really.
12-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA selection, and 68-69 All-Defensive team member, while leading the league in rebounds 4 times. Russell also coached the Celtics during 2 of those championship years as a player coach. So hats off to Bill Russell. Like I said, man, as a Knicks fan, my motto is definitely Buck Foston, but salute, because I definitely got a lot of respect for former and current Boston Celtic NBA players. So with that being said, that's BK Ty's top 5 for tonight.
All right. J58 says holler out to Paul Pierce, the truth.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I definitely give him a shout. I don't even think Paul Pierce
in Boston law, John Havlicek would be ranked above Paul Pierce on that list.
Absolutely. I don't even think Paul Pierce cracks the top 10.
Yeah, that would be
as far as greatest Celtics ever.
That would be hard pressed. Yeah, definitely.
But Paul Pierce,
he gets a shout out. He wanted
because he was absolutely a dog on the court, and he played practically his whole career in Boston. So, shouts out to Paul Pierce as well.
All right, enough of the love fest with Boston.
Word.
Big up on your chip. All right, that's it. Close out. Let's go. 718. Shout out to Sports in the City, live from the arena. All of our subscribers. J58, thanks for checking in, tuning in. Child Logic, Kato Cash, BK Ty. Go ahead. It's
subscribe, like, hit the notification button. Appreciate y'all checking in. Come back next week.
Check us out.
Salute to the iRant Network.
Yep. Ranters Union.
Ranters Union.
Yes, sir. And to
Kato Cash. Happy Born Day, Kato Cash.
Yes, sir.
Happy belated Born Day, Ja Logic. Shouts out.
Yes, sir.
So they hit the goddamn Mally, and we on him. That cock-smoking motherfucker with the big bitch gun, we was running hard on his ass, but
I think I hit him.
Nigga, you ain't hit nobody.
I might have hit him.
Yo, String, we hit the one girl, but after that, man, I ain't see nobody catch no lead, man.
Except for Tank?
Yeah, Tank gone. The other bro dropped him, so I guess we even now.
So you get one, right?
Yeah.
That's good. That's like a 40-degree day. Ain't nobody got nothing to say about a 40-degree day. 50, bring a smile to your face. 60, shit, niggas is damn near barbecuing on that motherfucker. Go down to 20, niggas get they bitch on. Get they blood complaining. But 40, nobody give a fuck about 40. Nobody remember 40, and y'all niggas is giving me way too many 40-degree days. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Now we gonna cover that bitch's funeral, her fucking wake. We gonna be all over that motherfucker till the bitch hit the ground. And if the faggot roll up to pay his respects, we gonna be on that motherfucker. Yo, who the fuck you talking to, man?
It's Don that string. She been calling.
No. Put the phone down.
I gotta go now.
Hey, y'all film me on this?
Yeah. You show up, you know, I'm like a motherfucking...
Like a 40-degree day.